Hello, this is Chodaros of Chodaros Designs, Chodaros Bling. In today's tutorial, we'll be on this bracelet called the Springtime, and this was designed by the great MS Loom. So this is only 4 pattern repeats, and it is suggested 6 to 7 for a full wrap. So this is just made off 1 loom, which is good because that kind of fits right on top of your wrists. If you can't make a full wrap, you can surely still have a beautiful bracelet with an extension. So there are a couple options here with beads. You can put them on the side bands. It definitely calls for beads of choosing in these middle areas. I use like ceramic roses. But you could also be, imaginative and put some type of flowered band with some wrap bands, cap bands and such. So on my side bands here, I use these little petal beads, and they kind of wrapped them in there. But we will go over that, and here is the back. So let's get started. For this bracelet, you will need your loom to be in this configuration. So first in 7, same height, second, 6th, down 1 peg, 3rd, 5th, down another. Your 4th peg goes up 1, okay? That one needs to be up for the pattern to be correct. So I am going to attempt to make a full wrap here. So this is how I have my loom set up. I do have the 6 peg bases. I have 2 of them, so hopefully our bracelet will not buckle. It's not a very tight knit bracelet, so we should be okay. So I think I'm going to try to go with a white theme. So I'm going to use for my perimeter, which I'm going to kind of try to keep that there so you guys can see it and for color choices. My perimeter, I choose the White Sweets by Rainbow Loom. So to start out, we want to put that band there, and that'll be our closing band when we're finished. And then we're just going to go to one side and loom it out to the edge. And then we're going to go to the other side, out to that edge. Okay, so if you choose to put bling on these side bands, which would be on the bands that are bubbled out there, you would want to put them on this next band that we have to place. So I'm going to be using these little rondelle round spacers. So I'm just going to place that one on the first peg going up on both sides. And then to finish our pattern, we're just going to go into and that will complete our first pattern. So there is no connection right there. Okay, that is what every pattern will look like from here on out. So it's nice that it's not too large, that you can do at least the top of your wrists should be pretty much covered with 1 loom. Alright, so to start out for our next pattern repeat, we want to start with these 2 pegs where we left off and go up to the sides. And then either place a plain band or a beaded band right there. And then again, we're going to take 2 on each side to bring it in. Okay, So I will do that one more time and then we will finish up separately and meet up. All right, so again, like I said, we'll do this one more time and then we will meet up when we are finished with this part of the pattern. Okay, and then just 2 bands going in. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish up. If you have just one loom that you're using, you will just have one more pattern repeat to do. If you have 2 looms that you're using, it's recommended 6 to 7, which I'm going to do 7 for my wrist. And then when we're at the end, we'll meet up for the next step. Okay, so we have all of our patterns on our loom, and if you're using 2 looms, you should be not quite to the top, just for 7. Okay, so our next step is to put these half starbursts. I'll show you on the back side here. In this case, I used lilac, deep lilac, I think it's called, or deep purple, and then I used the Persian pink. But you're just going to make half starbursts on both sides of your pattern. Okay, so I'm going to be using one color. You can use as many colors as you'd like. Going to use the Rainbow Loom glitter, clear glitter or glitter white. So you're just going to place your band first going up and then do a circle in a clockwise, doing it, there we go. So again, just half. So you start out straight, go around and end straight. Okay, so I think most of us are pretty familiar with how to make a starburst. It's not too difficult. It's extremely, I think it's a great idea to do it in order, but it's not necessary to do it in a clockwise. But we'll do one more for you. So these will be in that bubbled out area on your bracelet. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the exact same all the way up until our last pattern, and then we will meet back for the next step. Okay, so we have all of our half starbursts going all the way up both sides of our patterns on each one, and our next step is to lay, it'll be all of these bands here in the center, which in my case I used, oh gosh, caramel maybe in the 600 pack, and they're not very visible throughout the front of the bracelet. It might depend on if you put a bead in here and what size, because you can see mine right there on the sides, but they're pretty much hidden because we need to do that same type of pattern on top of it. All right, so we're going to be stretching some bands, so you might want to make sure that you have some bands that have good elasticity. So we're going to start out from this peg in front of the one we already have our bands started. So the second peg in, and then we're going to take that all the way up to where the pattern ends, like that. Okay, and then we're basically going to go around and do a large starburst, if you will, or just a wheel. We're just going to go around in a clockwise position, and every time you place a band, it's going to be on the border. Okay, it's going to hit another peg that has a band on it. Okay, so diagonal, and then we come down to this one, do another diagonal, and then we come in out to that side and then take on another diagonal up. Okay, so we hit all four corners of our pattern and the inside as well. So I will show you that one more time and then we will go off to finish and come back. All right, so again, you want to go up. So the pattern repeat, you know, would be there, or you can see where we started in the middle. So we're going to start again in the same area and take it up and then take it out to where your half starburst begins, then down, and then down again, and then out, and then to the top left. Okay, so one more time we'll do that and then we'll finish it up on our own. So again, you have like this little diamond of pegs that are open in the middle. And one more. Okay, so go ahead and finish that part up, going up until your last pattern, and we will meet back for the next step. Okay, so you should have your single chain looped up the center. So then the next thing we're going to do excuse me, is we're going to loom out the large starburst. Okay, so we're going to go into that middle peg, and the cap band is actually the chain that we looped on top. So be sure you're grabbing the top band, which I didn't do. I was going to say we don't start from the side. So my guess is the one going here is my top band because it's hidden. So let's see where that band is. Right here. There we go. Excuse me. All right, so if you place your bands clockwise, you know when we turn our loom around, we loom them counterclockwise. So all of them should be in order, but if they're not, just make sure that you're grabbing the one on top and that it is making this shape and there aren't any bands pulling off of each other like that. Okay, so we're going to move up to the next one, and again find that center peg of the second pattern repeat, and we know that this one comes down, and just going in a counterclockwise or whichever band is on top all the way around. Okay, so let's go ahead and loom the rest of those out, and we will meet back here because we have actually some band placement to do. So let's go ahead and do that and we'll be back here in a couple minutes. Okay, oh, I wanted to show you. This is my new I Forgive You bracelet. Just posted it yesterday, I believe. It is actually a bead weaving bracelet. So you actually take bead wire that you would typically put the beads on and replace it with the rainbow loom bands. So this one should be up soon, hopefully. Okay, so we are going to place some bands here because we have an outer starburst we're going to create. So we're going to put these bands on with our looms facing us. So with that being said, we're going to put them, this is our middle point, so they're going to go all the way around. We need to put them from these two pegs, one band, and then this one. If we had the loom turned around, typically we always loom or place our bands going out, but So I am actually going to try to bling these bands, and this is going to be this part right here, so it is quite visible. This is the top part of the bracelet, and I actually put two colors on here. I had the glitter pink, and then I've used the LE bands in the back, which I really like. So I'm going to, let's see, I have these gold or glitter white bands, and I put some like purplish beads on them. I'm gonna see if I can't try to highlight that somehow. So I want this part to be in glitter white. So again, I want that bead on, I don't know, I guess I want it on the inside. So I want to put a band going from here to here. So here's your middle. So you start putting a band here to here. And then I'm going to place a beaded band, which you absolutely do not have to do. But I'm going to place my second band right there. Okay? And we're just going to do that in order. So next goes a band from there to there, and then another band to the center peg, and then again from there to there, and then last one goes up, and that completes our second starburst. Okay? So you'll have 4 bands in the center. So we need to add a cap band onto that, but don't forget, any type of a bracelet that uses a cap band can always be used like a rhinestone spacer or whatnot. You can always try to put in this area as well, and that will give it a different, you know, add some bling to it. But I was trying to triple cap band that. Use my hook. Okay. So the same as any other, you know, starburst type of design, we're just going to go in that cap band and grab the one that's on top and loom it back to itself. And then we want to go in and grab the one that's behind it and loom that one back. So if you can see, it ends on our border bands. So when we go to loom the border, it will tie everything in. So you're just looming it as you normally would. Just making sure you don't forget to grab this band back here. And the last one, like that. Okay? So I'll do one more with you and then we'll break. Okay, so I need to go from that outer one first, and then I want to put a bling band to the center. Next outer going in. I watched a tutorial the other day from, I don't know if it was the Beading Company or Potomac Beads or something, and they had shown a tutorial where they added color with beads. So I thought, we could do all white and then add that extra color with a bead instead of a band. So hopefully it works out. Okay, and then you just add your cap band. And if you do happen to use beads like I am, don't worry about straightening them out until you're done with the bracelet. Otherwise, you could potentially snap a band, and you don't really know yet where it's going to be placed on the band until you take it off the loom. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and we'll place the rest of ours, and we'll meet back here. Alright, we are at the home stretch here. This is what your loom should look like. We just have 2 more steps to do. The next step is to loom out all of the side starburst. So because we had to loom this band over, that will act as our cap band. So that's 2 bands we go under and grab that top band that's going forward. And then it should all be in counterclockwise order. Okay, so I'm confident you guys can do this one pretty quickly, and then you would know after this step that the final step is to loom up our border. Now it's easier. I have to loom from this side. I'm sorry, but I think you guys know. Again, you're just going under the top 2 bands and looming it. This one will be in counterclockwise order. Like so. And you will do the same for every pattern up your loom. Alright, so now that we have loomed out our side starburst on every single pattern, we have left the border. Okay, so we're going to start down. You can either start on the left or right. I'm going to start on the left, and every single band that you grab will be the bottom band on every peg, and that is what is going to lock in your bracelet design. If it is not the bottom peg or bottom band that is coming and it doesn't make that teardrop, then you need to look back and see about band placement, because if this part is not loomed correctly, then all this work will not count. Okay, so you're just going up that one side to the middle and then coming up this side like that. Okay, so that was your whole first pattern is complete. So you do the same thing. I'll do one more with you and then we will break away. So you want to start on one side of the next pattern. And then loom that up to that last peg on the left for the pattern, and then you want to come back down to the beginning and then loom up the other side. Like that. So go ahead and loom up the rest of your patterns and take it off your loom, and then we will meet back at the end. Alright, so this is the outcome of the springtime bracelet. Obviously everybody's rendition is going to look different, but overall it has the oval shape. So you're going to have your half starbursts come out here. You can see the edge, the perimeter bands. Well, I did all white, but underneath you can see that first X should be the majority of that color, and the second bands, X bands, will be, that's where I have my seed beads, and then of course where you put your other beads. So this is 7 pattern repeats, and whoopsie, I believe I just need a tag for a little extension. So I hope you enjoyed making this bracelet, and I truly want to thank you for always tuning in to see what bracelet is next. It really warms my heart. And a big thank you to MS Looms for another great design. So stay tuned, we've got lots more coming. Thanks, bye-bye.